What's going on, Red Wings fans? Welcome to another edition of the Forecheck presented by Athletico Physical Therapy. I'm Daniella Bruce, and as always, joined by Red Wings radio play-by-play announcer Kal. And Ken, the Red Wings have won their last two games, including an exciting shootout victory over the Ottawa Senators on Friday night. So let's get right into this one. We're going to kick the show off with taking a look back at that game. And like I said, it was an exciting one right from the gate. Tyler Bertuzzi scored a great goal, but I think the biggest play, and we'll talk about Dylan Larkin in a minute too, but I think the biggest play on this goal was Filip Hronek's setup for Bertuzzi to ultimately get the tip in.
Yeah, he knew exactly where Bertuzzi was, parked off the side of the goal, and it was a nice pass type shot by Hronek, as we see it right there. And boy, I'll tell you what, that Bertuzzi is amazing with that hand-eye coordination, and he can just bat those pucks out of midair. That one was along the ice, but so dangerous off to the side of the goal, Tyler Bertuzzi.
Definitely a nice goal. That gave the Red Wings the 1-0 lead. Now we're going to take a look at Dylan Larkin's power play goal, the drop back pass here, and he must have saw a lane, Ken, because he just went for it.
Yeah, he put on the afterburners there, went through the defense, and they parted like the Red Sea, and he cut right out in front with a power move. And just a great individual effort by Dylan Larkin. That was his 99th career goal, and he'll come up with a bigger goal a little bit later. We'll see it, but what a move right out in front, power move, and put it behind the goaltender.
Definitely, that gave the Red Wings the 2-0 lead. And as you said, here we go. We're going to go right into the shootout. It would be 2-2, headed into the shootout, and Dylan Larkin would get the lone shootout goal. Another nice move here, and he just finishes.
Yeah, he went really wide to the right. I thought he was going to end up in California or something like that. But then cut right to the middle of the ice. And I like that move because it gives you more options for the shooter. And he came right out in front, faked to the backhand, and then got it over the pad of the goaltender. So beautiful goal for Larkin, and a big victory for Detroit. And they congratulate each other, and the fans loved it.
He made that shootout goal look a little easy, and I'm telling you, those can't be very easy. That's a tough shot to make, isn't it?
It certainly is, but the guy can score, and it's good to see him get his confidence back. He's on a streak right now, Dylan Larkin, and he's putting the points on the board, Daniella. So it's good to see here in the second half of the season. Hopefully it'll continue for Dylan Larkin.
Yes, as you said, he's been putting some points on the score sheet here. He has 7 points in his last 7 games, 2 of those being power play points. So he had a really good game, and like you said, it's just great to see him kind of taking that next step, because that's what we expect out of Dylan Larkin.
He is one of the leaders on this team, and of course you want him to get going. And I'm waiting for the break coming up now, because that's when you'll get some healthy bodies back in the lineup, guys like Anthony Mantha and hopefully Andreas Athanasiou. And the thing about this team, and I was talking with Steve Yzerman earlier this week, they've been decimated with injuries. So how do you evaluate this team when you really haven't had your full team since day one? And coming out of training camp, the Red Wings have been injured. They've lost almost 180-man games to injury. So, it'll be good to get everybody back and hopefully very healthy for the second half.
And that was something you talked to Steve Yzerman about in your interview last week, and I hope that you all have had the chance to see it, but if not, here's a little sneak peek.
The season is winding down, Steve, as you know. I mean, we're a little bit more than halfway through, and it's hard to believe that the trade deadline's coming up February 24th. Are you going to be active? Are you going to be passive? Are you going to take a wait-and-see approach? What's it going to be like for you at the trade deadline?
Our goal is to, if we can, acquire more draft choices. How do you do that? It really depends on what other teams want to do. So I can't give you a definitive answer on, my plan isn't to be passive. Certainly I'm looking for ways to build for the future, and in doing that, you're trying to acquire draft picks, you're trying to acquire prospects or young players that can come into the organization sooner than later. As we sit here today, can I tell you we can definitely do that? No, it's basically teams, including ourselves, at this stage, we're getting ready for our mid-season amateur meetings, our mid-season pro meetings, which leads up to the trade deadline, and everyone is doing that between now and the next 2 weeks. So we talk with other teams, let them know this is kind of where we're at, what we're thinking. Let me know if there's anything of interest or you have any ideas, and over the course of the next couple weeks, you get a better indication of what you might be able to do come the deadline, and do that. But if we're going to do anything, if I were to answer it, I would say our goal would be to try to acquire young assets at the deadline if we can. And today I can't tell you I can definitively do that.
So, Ken, from that quote, you can kind of see that Steve Yzerman didn't give us much about what his plan is at the trade deadline, but he did let us know that he wants to build this team through the draft, and he will be aggressive if he can acquire those draft picks. Here is another look at what the Red Wings currently have for the 2020 draft.
Here's the thing about other teams. They're going to be calling. That phone's going to be ringing because every team in the National Hockey League, especially some of the top teams, need some pieces to their puzzle to make their team complete. And obviously, they're going to be looking at teams like the Detroit Red Wings to see what players are available in exchange for maybe another player. And, of course, what Steve Yzerman's looking for are more draft picks. And that's the future of this Red Wing team. Making trades in the offseason, but also securing your team by getting as many draft picks as possible, not trading those draft picks, and building through the draft.
Definitely. I thought that was great to hear from him. Ken, you did a great job on the interview. It was very nice to hear from Steven what he's thinking mid-season and as his first season as the general manager of the Red Wings. Now, guys, we're going to switch our focus and start talking about the Buffalo Sabres. We've got them in town tonight for today's game. It's Kids Day. We've got a lot of fun going on, but the Red Wings are definitely going to have to watch out for two of the guys on their team, Jack Eichel and Rasmus Dahlin. Now, the Buffalo Sabres played last night, and they lost at home 6-3 to the Canucks, so you can imagine they're going to come out hot. But these two guys each had 2 points in that 6-3 loss.
Daniela, Jack Eichel's been everything for the Buffalo Sabres this season, probably having his best year since coming into the National Hockey League. And you take a look at his numbers, 16 multiple-point games this season, 4-point games. He's got 3 times he's had 4-point games, 7 times 3-point games. So he's been putting the numbers up. Hopefully he won't have the numbers against Detroit. Red Wings are playing pretty good defensively over the last several. And Rasmus Dahlin, #1 overall pick a couple of years ago, just solid on the blue line. 2 goals, a lot of assists, and he's a guy that you have to watch out for. The other guy on the blue line that always seems to hurt the Red Wings is Rasmus Ristolainen, and he has 16 points in 22 games against Detroit. And it seems like whenever they're on the power play, he always contributes with a point or two. So the Red Wings have to be careful with him.
Going back to Eichel and Dahlin, we didn't exactly look at their power play numbers, but they are really good. So if it's not always an important thing to stay out of the box, tonight is going to be really important for the Red Wings to stay out of there.
Absolutely, and they're very dangerous. They can move that puck around and get to the front of the net. So obviously stay out of the penalty box for Detroit. And on the other hand, you can't give up opportunities when the Red Wings are on the power play. Can't give up those shorthanded efforts. And, when you do that, puts yourself in a hole, especially if the other team scores.
And Ken, one thing the Red Wings have been struggling with this season seeming to be stringing together a 60 minutes of hockey. And on Friday night, it felt like there was that 60 minutes. Did you have that same feeling?
Yeah, I did. And I think over the last couple of games, they've done that really well. Second periods have been, very bad for the Red Wings, but somehow they found a way to get that going against Montreal and against the Ottawa Senators. And what I really like about this team is they're not turning the puck over as much as they used to. And when you play that type of game where you're not turning the puck over and you're protecting it and you're in the offensive zone, good things happen. And when you're not doing that, you're turning the puck over, bad things happen. So I think the Red Wings are learning. It's been 2 months since the Red Wings have had a 3-game win streak. Why not this afternoon against the Buffalo Sabres? A big win would be good for the Red Wings today.
Exactly. Why not tonight, guys? And tonight's puck drop is at 5 p.m. If you're not coming down to the arena, you can catch the game on Fox Sports Detroit, or you can tune into 97.1 The Ticket. Listen to your very own Ken Kal. And Ken, I do have to tell you, we have so much fun planned for Kids Day at the arena, so you should really try to get down here with your family. It's going to be a great day. Face painters, all kinds of things on the concourse, and there might even be some kids involved in our show tonight.
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
really?
Do we have a mini Ken Kal? We should have got a mini Ken.
No, we don't. But a future, future Daniela.
Yeah,
Carly.
Yeah, we'll have a future Carly here too. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.